Welcome back to Straw Hat Crusaders. Oh, wait, I think this is our first special episode.
Oh, my goodness.
Ow.
Hold on, let me just real quick.
And we're doing an adjustment.
I'm really sorry that I was not planning on that to get as loud as it did. My throat took over me. I'm really sorry, y'all.
It took over.
Hey, that's okay.
Sometimes the throat takes over.
The audience will
Sometimes
understand.
the throat take over.
The headphone listeners will absolutely understand.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so we're here. Some of us are queer. I won't say who. Let me start over.
Now keep it going. Keep it running.
And we just watched the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure OVA for Stardust Crusaders.
The OVA?
What?
The
What is
OVA.
that, Josh?
It was released in '94, and it's a collection of 6 episodes of the back half of Stardust Crusaders. So it covers 4 arcs from there: the Endul fight, the fucking Darby fight, the Vanilla Ice fight, and of course the Dio final battle. Wow. We didn't watch the other OVA that is the prequel to that. Maybe we'll get to that later. But before we get into our thoughts, we have a very... Well, I'm Josh.
Who are we?
Sorry, I'm Josh. To my left is...
Hayden Hardtrick.
Across from me is...
Clayton Chalman.
And Adriana just couldn't be in today. They were busy.
They had dumbass loser disease.
Yeah, they are unfortunately sick. We are awaiting their recovery. We are awaiting word of their recovery from the government. But in our midst, we have a very special guest today. And he is?
Hello, everybody. My name is Ben, and I'm the famous Kakyoin spoiler.
This is the man who spoiled Kakyoin's death for
admitted
Clayton.
right away.
And we're holding him hostage on this podcast as recompense, as punishment.
Yeah.
Ben, how are you doing? How are you? Who are you? What do you do?
Hello. For real life trivia, I'm the Hayden's real life. Like we go back to the dawn of time.
Yep.
We go back real far. I'm definitely on the JoJo side of the Straw Hat and the Crusaders.
It's kind of the trend.
As much as every single other guest has been. Yeah.
I have started reading One Piece.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
They are about to fight Krieg on the dinner ship.
Spoiler. We are not that far yet.
Yeah, we're 2 chapters in.
You beat Clayton. You're like more caught up than Clayton. Yeah. That's awesome, though. How you liking
What
it?
do you think of One Piece so far?
It made me laugh. It's made me emotional.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, its combat and like its system is like. I don't know if I was just watching like bad shonen, but it's like everyone is like fights so unique, and I enjoy. We love Usopp. Love Usopp.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do. Yeah, you do.
That
And
tracks.
especially you're at a very exciting point where you're like, especially if you're having fun now, like you have no idea.
Yeah, you're still in like the worst section of One Piece.
I'm in the part 1 of One Piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think honestly, Barate for me is like that's like in terms of quality and maybe even in terms of page count, that's like starting part 2 for me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What about JoJo? What's your history with JoJo?
Now, I've been a JoJo fan since around the time the part 4 anime finished. So like 2017, 2018. I watched the anime first. I read like a few chapters of part 1, and it got pretty hard to follow. Some of those pictures you can't tell what's happening.
What?
So I got to like the Tarkus fight, and I was like, I'm switching to the anime. I'm rewatching. I don't know what's happening.
Damn.
And I actually really liked part 1 on my first watch. I was really invested. I liked how it was pretty goofy, and it was just so. Everyone in part 1 is like so serious, so when they are goofy, it's extra.
Yeah.
It's extra, and I really like that. Love part 2, and then I pretty much binged it over like an entire summer. So like at the beginning of summer, like I was getting into part 2, and by the end of it, I had finished part 4, and was starting my read of part 5. And like sometime during that, the part 5 anime was announced for later in the year, and then I read like all of part 5 all at once. And then I didn't continue. I read 6 and 7 a few years ago, and I actually started 8 a few weeks ago too. So I've gone around the block. I've been with I've seen like the fandom like evolve and change over time and grow.
Yeah.
And some of those early like 2018 era like JoJo memes.
Oh my god.
That was where
Oh yeah.
Those were tough times, man.
it was ever all anyone had to say was Kakyoin Donut, which is what led me to the Kakyoin spoiler. It was like
Yeah.
it was just everyone talked about it, or like Kakyoin, Okuyasu, MILF Hunter. Those were around a lot. And those were like the only jokes anyone ever made.
Oh, the Thundercross split attack one.
That one's that one's funny
was-
though. I
yeah.
like that. I laughed about that the other day. I really did.
Yeah, there's some old ones that get me, but there was something about the JoJo fan community when I started that was the most insufferable, like, just irreverent, just piece of shit community in terms of humor.
Well, we love you.
Yeah, but I think we've evolved. I think we've
Yeah,
left a lot.
yeah,
We've shed a lot of the ingrates.
I don't know.
As they say.
I read the comments on the Part 8 scans I'm reading, and I can't read comments on that site at all. It's like none of you have any media literacy. You're just saying things. And it's like they just say the meanest things about characters sometimes that they don't like, and then the moment they do anything that's like useful, quote unquote, that's when they like them. I saw the same thing happen with Berserk. It's like you can enjoy a story, like you can enjoy a character even if they don't do like great, like it's okay. You don't have to wish death upon. They're not real. They're drawings.
I literally I experienced the same thing reading One Piece with the comments on
Oh,
the
yeah,
scans.
the comments
When
on the
people
scans,
would be like, you know, in Alabasta, like, wow, Nami finally did something. Fuck you.
Uh-huh.
Are you a fucking moron? Have you ever like looked at the sky? God damn. But as many pieces of filth that there are, I'm being so mean. As many media illiterate people as there are, there's a lot more people who are normal and good and fun to talk to.
You can count all of the good One Piece and JoJo fans by looking at our subscriber count.
Yeah.
That's where all the
good ones are
ones
there. Yeah, no, but
which
yeah,
is
Ben
skyrocketing right now.
Ben was
Yep.
one of the people that got me into JoJo. I don't believe he was the first person, but he was. I remember specifically reading and talking about Part 5 together in like freshman year of high school or wherever it was that it came out.
Jorno was blue, and he was only blue.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm a blue Jorno truther. That's
Like his skin?
his coat.
No,
He
Yeah.
was a Navi.
Yeah.
I'm much more. I'm a purple pink, whatever the hell that is. I'm a hot pink Jorno Truther personally. I think that was the way to go. But yeah, I must say, you are in an elite group of fans, and for the mere fact that you probably are in the earlier half of Western fans, given where you started, JoJo, because it's the fandom exploded during Part 5 and on. Like,
I already thought it was pretty big by like 3 and 4. Because people love, especially also 2. Like people love Joseph, and
Yeah.
they ended there.
I know I do.
yeah, they're not various. They're just very loud. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. That's the thing is like it was so well. It was like kind of. It was known in people who like were already into like anime, but at like this point, like JoJo feels like something that it's a bit more mainstream than it was at the time, which is very cool and awesome. But in 1994, it sure as hell wasn't mainstream.
No.
Ben has been asking to watch this with the OVA for like a very long time. I know the OVA has been a thing that Ben has been very interested in. And so that is what we watched today. Are we ready to start chatting about it?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's go.
So first of all, who all was this the first time? This was my first time watching the OVA.
My first time.
My first time.
And Ben,
And
you've
Ben?
seen it before, right?
I've seen this
Yes.
at least like twice before.
Wow. So this was
Damn.
all three of our first experience. Josh, I thought you would have seen this before.
I've seen clips from it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had not watched it all the way through. Yeah. I'll say it. I was pleasantly surprised for the most part.
It was fucking awesome.
I had a lot of fun. I don't know if I would say I prefer the changes that were made, but I think that like for the purpose of what this was, a lot of the changes were really cool and had a lot of fun that came out of them.
There were some clear choices in terms of what they cut and what they mashed together. Like they knew that one, they're starting in the middle of the story.
Yeah.
Which is a respectably bold choice because we know that like the back half is a bit more popular. And then they also narrowed it down to arguably the 4 best arcs in the back half, at least in some of the opinions here. And I think that some of the changes they made were inspired. I think some of them were definitely more for time, and I think make it inferior to the anime adaptation.
Yeah.
But I really respect the effort. That's kind of the main.
Yeah.
That's kind of like I could tell there was definitely effort and maybe even some love that was put into this.
Yeah.
Important. We did watch the dub. We watched the dub version, which added a lot. Took away a
Very
lot, but
goofy.
I think added a lot of silly and fun.
Kakyoin!
I will say, I think there are, for me, parts of this that shine like even brighter than the anime. I think the anime is probably the way to experience this story for the first time. But as a supplement, like seeing there are so many like Cream in this looks fucking awesome and is terrifying. Watching it rip through Avdol and
then Iggy
cutting Iggy just like right in half, and we don't get any of the fucking Netflix censorship.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Steps
Watching Hierophant Green.
Oh, the
at
stand
Kakyoin's
design.
Return.
Green was
That was
beautiful
like
in this.
So fucking hype for me.
When Kakyoin returned.
Kakyoin is one of my favorite JoJo characters.
Hell yeah.
And I've never been a big like Hierophant Green has never made such a big impression on me as it did in that moment. Emerald Splash is animated fucking awesome. The way it like unravels and shit looks great.
Yeah.
He like zip lines with like Joseph's about to get attacked by Dio, and then Emerald Splash explodes in. This is Kakyoin's return to the story. To me, does that beat the moment where he walks up and they all go, Kakyoin? Maybe not on an emotional level.
I don't know.
But like there were just some action set pieces that were animated very well, and to see Kakyoin zip through and grab Joseph, there was some like kineticism to some of this, to these battles.
Oh yeah.
But I think that on an emotional level, clearly it doesn't have any of the setup.
Yeah.
Now, had we watched the prequel to this first, which I'm glad they went back and made, maybe there would have been more of that setup. But we already had the story, I think, in our hearts going in that kind of informed. I can imagine if this is your first time with anything JoJo, this would not make any sense. It would kind of be like
because they don't
super
even,
detached.
They don't even explain a lick of what's going on.
They
don't say like what a stand is at all, or
It's almost like they expected you to have read the manga.
Yeah.
which might have been.
Yeah.
If it was an OVA, like just directed video, like surely they knew the audience. Like you're not picking this up if you don't know what JoJo is.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
It was like for, well, I wouldn't say fan servicey at points, but I don't know. I mean, this was also like the only JoJo animation for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first bit. Stardust Crusaders was so popular. It was what exploded JoJo in Japan. That only 2 years later they rolled this out. And yeah, this was pre like JoJo penetrating the Western audience. So like no one in the West knew what the fuck JoJo even was when this came out. But yeah, there were moments that I really liked. Overall, I mean, it was an experience. I'm glad I finally watched it.
Yeah, I feel like that's like one of those things. It's like it's very evident, especially with like the quality of the dub. Because I feel like I watched the dub for most of the anime. All of the anime I've seen, I have seen it dubbed and I've seen it subbed. And I enjoy the JoJo dub. I think it has a lot that is. I remember enjoying it quite thoroughly. And it has like I think it. Like, you seeing the quality of this dub is like, yeah, they're not paying for, like, good voice actors. They are dubbing it so that they can release it to make a little more money, you know?
Yeah. And I am a like JoJo anime dub defender. I know a lot of fans really, I think for like the naming changes alone, really don't like the dub. But I mean, that just doesn't really bother me. But
Matt
I also,
Mercer, he does good work. All right.
I think I'm always gonna have a special place in my heart for many OVAs of any kind, because like if you find a really good one, like the animation is so smooth to watch, and if they're like, I like the really like violent and pulpy ones, because then you can just say how much fun they had just like spilling guts everywhere. And this is probably the most
very
visceral.
First of all, like first shot gets nipples. We got white nipples in the
White
like the
nipples look like a splotch of glue.
Yeah, they for some reason they splice in the scene from the beginning of the Part 1 manga where you see an Aztec tribe sacrifice a woman, and they use that blood to activate the stone mask, which is not explained at all how it ties in really to this OVA, but we know.
I don't think they say the word vampire either.
No.
Yeah, no.
Not even once.
We see Dio's teeth.
They don't explain how Dio's so strong, or why he's so hot. They don't explain any of that. You know, what the hell?
Or who Jonathan Joestar is.
No, they really don't. They don't explain who Haman is, and that gets used.
The wave energy.
The wave energy.
Wave energy shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to tie it back in, like I love like pulpy old dubs. I mean LVAs, but also like dubs. Like the old Akira dub is I've got nostalgia for it, but I love how like we kind of didn't. Not all of them like not all of them had great translations, and some old dubs are definitely worse than others and not made the same. Mm-hmm. But I love how like I can't explain it. Like it's just so charming.
Yeah.
How like sometimes you could tell that all right, Jotaro didn't try here. Okay. Or yeah. I have no idea.
Joseph is way too calm and not unhinged. Like he felt like it didn't feel like I was watching Joseph Joestar, really.
He never said, "Oh my god."
No, he never said, "Holy shit." He never said that.
I do think my favorite line read from this whole dub was "Here's a gas car for you."
An oil tanker.
An oil tanker for you.
Yeah.
He's so nice.
Dio's dub voice in this. It might be a controversial take for some fans.
It's pretty good.
This is my like canonical Dio voice in my head.
It was good. Honestly, him and Polnareff had my favorite voice performances. I think Polnareff shined a little bit.
Polnareff
was always the best.
He's so good. I'm such a Polnareff lover.
I'm with you on this.
This made me like so much more endeared to him. He got like a lot of the brunt, especially in like the first 2 episodes, which were a little. I feel like the first 3 were the weaker parts of this.
Yeah,
but they had like so much love put into his animation, and I was like, yeah, this is Polnareff, and I love Polnareff, and I want more Polnareff always. So
the casting felt like kind of like a school play. Like, all right, Jotaro, you have a deep voice, you can play Jotaro. Oh, you guys can act. So you're gonna have the characters with the most lines, so that this whole thing doesn't completely sink.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Josh?
Yeah.
I was asking these other guys this when you were in the bathroom. I asked them, do you think Josh would be mad at me if I decided that my favorite part was part 3?
From where you're at right now, I would say. So you've seen the first 5 parts.
I've seen the first 5 parts.
No, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be disappointed. I would be. It's weird because I would have been surprised if you told Josh, who was starting this podcast with you, like Clayton's favorite part after seeing part 5 might be part 3. I'd be like, huh? But after reading One Piece and after seeing your journey with part 3, and also knowing that you've only seen it once, that is not terribly surprising. However, I will say part 3 for me was better on the second rewatch, but part 5 for me and part 4 were just even more better, if I may be grammatically unsound. So I think the second watch through of JoJo was paramount to my current understanding of it, but maybe reading through it also might be a different experience.
Save that opinion for when we redo this podcast when we finish it and rewatch everything.
Hell yeah.
I'm thinking, Clayton, I know that you probably wouldn't want to start from the beginning and watch everything over. I know that there's probably moments you would rewatch, but honestly, like, I'm kind of curious to get your opinion on the manga. And I don't know if that's ever something you read through. I feel like you would receive a definitive opinion for yourself as to what your favorite is. But also, if you like part 3 though, like more than part 5 and part 6, I think then we might have like a problem.
I like part 5 is amazing. Like I really like part 5, and after I finished it, I was like, part 5 is my favorite.
Yeah.
I've just, for whatever reason, over the past couple days, even before we watched this OVA, I was just looking back on part 3 and like the fondness of it. And there are so many moments that I think of.
It's so warm.
Like,
yeah.
What is it? What is this stupid fucking rat doing? We have a dog in our house that is absolutely
They picked up a fucking stray dog.
We're going to talk about this more on next podcast because this is our special episode. We don't want to bog it down, but I don't think this dog should be allowed to live. I love it though.
Yeah, but you were I can totally understand where you're coming from, especially as a One Piece fan. Part 3 What?
This dog is now slurping so fucking loud.
I don't think you guys can hear it on the mics, but we can hear it, and it's a lot. But he's fine.
It is very funny.
He took a big old shit.
No!
Lucas is
friend
here.
of the show, Lucas, noticed that he took a shit.
I'm so
you don't
sorry.
have to clean it up. I'll clean it up.
No, I got it because it's just gonna smell.
Man.
Okay. All right.
We gotta beat this dog. We gotta feed this dog to cream.
As a One Piece fan, I'd say that from the parts you've experienced so far, part 3 has the closest energy to that. And it's just a lot of fun, you know?
Yeah.
I'd say, though, you mentioned earlier, and I have to ask. You said that you liked the front half of part 4, maybe more than the back half.
Of part 4 or part 5?
Of part 4.
Of part 4.
Part 4, when the front half has no Kira and the back half has Kira, I was very like just intrigued by that statement.
When did I mention? Sorry, it's been so long. I don't even remember what I was saying.
That was like a few weeks ago.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, I think that part 4 personally was playing to its strengths when it wasn't following a specific plot line. And I think that it doesn't totally commit to the Kira plot line in the back half.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it does a better job of letting them be fun, silly, goofy high schoolers in the first half than it does at being a find the serial killer murder mystery in the second half.
Interesting. Yeah. I see where you're coming from. I cannot relate, but I understand.
That's fair because a few short days after Shigechi is blown up, Josuke meets Mikitaka and says, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to troll Rohan, and I'm going to extort him for millions of dollars. It's
That's so true.
They just like, Kira just like, they found the button, and he's just like gone back into hiding, and Josuke is over here fucking around with Rohan.
Well, I like to think about that like kind of as a prequel. I'm kidding.
It's all out of order.
That's crazy. I mean, you still do you not like Kira?
I like
do you
Kira.
Not like Kira?
I love Kira.
Okay.
I want some more of Kira.
I also never asked how you felt about like Diavolo after everything was said and done, but that's kind of a
I don't like Diavolo.
You want,
huh?
I don't like Diavolo, but we'll talk about that on
What?
a different one.
When did you decide this?
You want to pull it back to the
pretty quick.
OVA
Let's
for a
talk about
second?
the OVA.
No.
I want to.
I didn't like Diavolo at first either, but on the second rewatch, and after seeing a certain video by Super Eye Patch Wolf, I understood it more.
Yeah.
And then I liked
Clayton.
him.
Yeah, Clayton.
So
what the fuck?
I get it. Don't get so. Don't.
That is an understandable opinion.
Yeah.
I want to, speaking of villains that we hated, I want to say I was so the one thing that I was like actively disappointed in this OVA was Darby.
Me too.
I like this, like the anime Darby is so good and it's paced so well. Like I thought, like when I was first watching it and I was like, oh, they're moving through Darby a little bit quicker, this might be fun. And then I was like, no, the length of time that we spend in Darby is so important to what Darby is and why he is so effective and fun. And I don't know what it was, but I think like
maybe the Louisiana accent.
Yeah, the
maybe
Cajun accent.
It's also
that went in and out.
It's very
Gambling.
close to like the amount of time. Like the episode time is like 30, 40 minutes maybe, and that's about the length. It's one of the more faithful sections of the OVA, so it kind of does go through the motions without putting a spin on
well,
many
like
things.
in the anime, it's split into 2 episodes, and I think that was the right choice because there's a lot of style and circumstance that is like loaded into those episodes, and this did not have that zest.
And they get to spend a whole episode on hey Darby, let's play some poker.
Yeah,
And
And then-
also like we spent 2 episodes on we spent 2 episodes on Endul, and it's like, did we need to spend
Yeah,
2 episodes
that was
on
like-
Endul? That was kind of like slow and awful.
That was a whole real life hour.
Yeah.
that did not need to be 2 episodes. There were parts of it that were like awesome. Honestly, Iggy, you. Clayton, you liked Iggy more in this than
This is
I
great,
did.
Iggy. I also agree. I love this.
I like Iggy more here. It's because he doesn't talk.
I
don't-
like. As a whole, I like Iggy more in the anime. In the duel fight, Iggy here kind of rocks.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
say it.
I think
And
Iggy.
it's really the only thing he does.
I think even like because I've seen the sub and the dub as well for the pet shop fight. It's a cool fight, but I don't like that we hear so much of Iggy like inside his head. It's like I liked him better when he was just a dog.
This is how I know that like I have JoJo brain rot because I've come to love that. I've come to love Iggy voice.
No, I agree. I like the Iggy voice moment. I was kind of bummed that we didn't get Pet Shop because I did think it really endears us to the character of Iggy.
Imagine how cool Pet Shop could have looked in this, and if they
Right.
stuck with Iggy being only a dog, and it was like almost like a whole like it's action only.
Yeah.
Like because neither character can actually talk, and that would have been really cool. But we didn't get it. But we got 2 in dual episodes instead.
I do though think that the moment where Polnareff's about to get killed and we just get it's just the fool like blasting out of that tunnel and tackling Cream.
It was fucking awesome.
That was
tackling
awesome.
Vanilla Ice.
Some of
Or
the
sorry,
best-
Iced. That was fucking awesome, and it immediately I was like, Iggy.
Yeah.
It was almost like a plot twist of like, oh my god, this dog actually gives a fuck.
which I
That
that
was
moment
cool.
too was so fun. And when you just see Vanilla Ice, and he's just like limp against the wall,
Yeah.
like body twisted and contorted in a way that you shouldn't be, off of like one hit. It was awesome.
There were some
Oh
highlights.
god, that Vanilla Ice.
when he screams, like, Iggy screams a lot in this. Like as
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like a
The way they
like
do
a
his
stuck pig.
sound design is crazy. There were like moments that was like genuinely unsettling because it's like, how did they get this sound bite without taking a dog and stabbing it with a knife?
I will say there were some real highlights to this Vanilla Ice fight, but I do far prefer the more what's loyal adaptation,
Yeah.
like because
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of strategy that gets thrown that is exhibited by Polnareff and Iggy in the original version that the anime adapts faithfully, and that was definitely not in here as much, but and also the go to hell Vanilla Ice, like that moment when he slices open the curtain and then Vanilla Ice like evaporates.
Yeah.
It's not even touched on how Vanilla Ice is a vampire in this. Yeah.
That was one of my other issues. It's like I love this OVA a lot. I love this fight, but he just stabs him in the head.
Yeah.
He just slices his head open.
And I this time around, since they actually don't say the word vampire and they don't really, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that like maybe they were implying that all Dio did was revive him,
Yeah.
and not give him vampire powers. But I was for the longest time like this specific Vanilla Ice OVA fight was one of my like favorite fights in any JoJo thing. And this time watching it, it ended, and I thought that was a lot shorter than I thought it than I remember it.
Yeah.
It was
But-
pretty short.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
It
being
really
able to
is.
see. I think it was it you that said not being able to see, or was it John? Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
you. Said not being able to see Vanilla, the actual like stand moving around, amplified it so much.
In the anime though, that it's the same until he kicks the dust up. Then you can see. But it's done so much more suddenly and with
Yeah.
such more like shock
Yeah.
with the sound effects and everything.
And the
It's
way
really cool.
he just takes out because they replace Avdol's death, they move it to the tomb replacement scene, and that just like going through his body, and it's just like, oh, he's dead now.
Yeah.
And just because Dio just says like one line, and it's like one of his like first or few lines that he says, and it's like, oh shit, it like raised the stakes so effectively so quickly. It was awesome. I want to get into a little bit more of the actual like Dio final fight though, because I feel like there's a lot to talk about there and a lot of cool things that happened.
Yeah.
I like it more than the anime.
I think I agree in the sense of I like the
They talk so much in the anime.
I like
And
the
that's one thing on like rewatching it with y'all where I'm like, I get it, Araki. It's a lot better to read than it is to listen to Jotaro explain for 5 minutes what's going on. It's like especially like rewatching. It's like I know what's happened, but here, it's just punch. It's just so much faster, and it's animated smoother, and I think
It's
a lot.
very smooth.
It's the fight choreo and the like. It gets really like there's a lot more dynamic like camera angles and just creative things they do with the stands, and I love this one a lot more. Also,
I think-
Dio voice here, I like it.
one of my favorite parts about what this OVA did was like after the sucking Jonathan dry moment,
Whoa.
or excuse me, Joseph Dry. That was
That was a stat fight, I believe.
they have they like actually fight a little bit more because it feels like in the anime like you have the Jonathan moment, you get the Road Roller moment, and then there's like one big punch at the end that kind of like ends it. But I really enjoyed them fighting outside of Time Stop for a little while and just kind of beating the shit out of each other. It was awesome.
He gets
And
his shit rocked in
Oh, yeah.
every part of that city.
oh, it was awesome.
It's cool. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's cool. Like the visuals of seeing it were epic. To me though, like what that fight means to me, and specifically like what it conveys, is much more to me than just like the dynamics of it. Much more than just like the punches, which I think in the anime still look awesome. I do prefer the art style and how closely they stuck to it in the anime.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
appreciate how like epic this looked. I'm not gonna say it didn't look good, but for me, like the fight with Dio is this war of attrition. It's this like Jotaro has to pull out every every strategy he can think of because Dio is so overmatched, and the only thing that puts Dio as a disadvantage is his own ego, and that is demonstrated perfectly, I think, in the original version of this fight. Also, the music is so much better to me in the original.
Oh, I love this OVA.
I know this music was good. It had its place for sure, but to me, like Jotaro's theme
Yeah.
in Stardust Crusaders in the
They had,
in
like,
the
40
anime
episodes to build that up, though.
yeah, I mean, I only need to hear it once personally. Just the production, the two productions had different strengths, and I appreciate them both for what they are, for sure. But this definitely was like, this was a shortened version of that fight. And getting to see him be Supermen more, like throw buildings at each other, that's fucking awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't remember when they say it, but like canonically, this Dio fight happens in like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And it is the worst 4 minutes of Jotaro's life. And I think the OVA conveys that pretty damn well.
The moment where he gets punched in the stomach up to the top of the street light and then comes back down and the street light rattles behind him. And I'm just like, oh my God.
When Dio just disappears from the frame because he stopped time without any sound
Yeah.
effect. That was
Yeah.
awesome. That was
That's
haunting.
so fucking cool.
It's so cool.
They do so many fun things like that.
They
where
play around with it so
really like accentuate a stand ability's like presence.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I will say I think this was. I was not expecting to have any fun with this. I'll be like fully honest.
That's
Like
fair.
going into this,
That's
I was
fair.
like, yeah, this is gonna be bad, and we're just gonna dunk on it the whole time. But I had a lot of fun. I had so much fun.
Yeah. I do. Part of me does wish that we could have seen this studio in this direction done for the whole part.
Imagine if
Like,
they did King Crimson in like seeing King Crimson animated in this like style and like in like real time thing.
what they would have
would've
done
been
with the
cool.
time effects.
People
Yeah.
getting chopped to bits.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
would've- if that studio got their hands on part 5, they're
The
rated R.
brutality was
can't show that on TV.
Well, Clayton wouldn't want to see that because he doesn't like Diablo. Is kind of what I'm getting.
Clayton doesn't like
For
blood
another
either.
time, we'll do a
Clayton's
whole
scared.
episode about that.
How, okay.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Okay.
I need to know right now.
Sure. We'll make it
Well,
really quick. Though.
Yeah, yeah.
Really,
Well,
really
hold
quick.
on, hold on,
I have
hold on,
one
hold on.
more thing
Hold
too about.
I want to let's finish OVA. Let's
Okay,
close
okay.
out. See if
Yeah.
we got anything else, and then
I know I just sometimes I can be a bit of a contrarian Christopher about stuff, but I guess like this is my favorite way to absorb part 3 just because the anime is so long and
Yeah.
you know I don't really want to go through Alessi again. I don't really want to watch
Yeah.
the Sword Anubis again.
Well,
And you know I get the hits here, I get the greatest hits in the OVA, and it's there's a lot of good good icing on that cake.
yeah.
And I know that's a very unpopular opinion, but I appreciate its vision too. Like this was no one knew, like there wasn't a standard, there was no previous OVA to compare it to. The series was already like weird and just how out there it is, and just
Yeah.
its little things that like JoJo does makes it a little harder to adapt. And I appreciated the effort, and it looks really cool,
Whoever-
and that goes a long way for me.
Whoever created this, whoever spearheaded this, had to be kind of like insane.
Before-
I think they had to be a little unhinged to be like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know?
And-
like,
And then to like do it
and then
with sauce, with juice,
with some zest. Yeah.
I'm gonna get it on tape here. So when are we gonna tackle the Golden Wind PS2 game? Because I'm also a defender of that.
Don't even with this agenda of yours.
I'm so curious what that game is like.
It's fucking weird.
I legitimately also believe it
what
makes
kind
you.
of game is it?
So it's called like a fighting game or like it's like it's really more of like an action game. And
Like a beat 'em up?
it's like
it's-
a beat 'em up if you have to like think about it.
It's
Okay.
it's not a complete story playthrough of part 5.
Pretty much a few fights.
Whoa.
It
Yeah.
gets the hits.
It's a 3D
You can
like,
play as every gang member.
RPG.
And
isn't there an element of like if you can play the fights however you want, but if you fulfill the actual story things that happened, you get like rewards and stuff.
yeah. And the best part about that game is if you do that for like every level, there are some characters you can play like in completely different fights. Like you could take Narancia to the White Album fight if you fulfill the White Album
Okay.
level like all the way.
You have
And
Clayton's attention.
And I legitimately like it's deceivingly difficult sometimes for design and sometimes because it's a clunky PS2 game. And I legitimately also think like it makes you feel how difficult and how like fighting for your life some of these battles are. And if you mess up and if you do the wrong thing,
It just
That's it.
looks funny.
It does look
it looks
funny.
hilarious.
It looks weird.
it is so fun.
I'm
I'm
intrigued
excited
by
to look more
I would
into it.
I think it'd be fun to
Last
look
level-
at at some point. Maybe play it like
maybe far down the line.
a couple of levels and maybe
I will learn how to speed run it, and I'll make it painless so everyone can just watch.
That's awesome. Is there anything else we want to say about
I said everything.
about the OVA? I mean, what would y'all rate? I guess rate it out of 10. What would you?
That's kind of hard to do
Yeah,
because
that's-
there's
Yeah.
moments that are like 9s or even like there's moments that are 10s.
Yeah.
I think overall this is a 7 out of 10 for me.
I
Wow.
would say I don't know if I have like an out of 10 rating, but I think I would say I recommend watching it.
That's me too.
Yeah.
I could not give it really because there's so much context not given in it. You have to be in such a specific place in your life, and you have to have such specific context to, I think, be in the right place to watch it. But I don't think I would really go out of my way to watch the whole thing again.
Yeah,
but I'm interested enough.
I think it's fun. I think it was a fun time.
I'm interested enough to see the 2000 release where they cover the front half.
And I got the monkeys there too.
Oh man.
Oh man, never mind.
I think
I'm
this
out.
OVA, it's a 7 if you're a fan. This is not a fun one. This is like a 4
Yeah,
or
2.
even
I'd
like a
say
3
2.
if you're
It's a
not.
terrible watch if you don't know what the fuck's going
Yeah.
on at all. But if you're out there and you haven't seen it and you're a part 3 head, I'd say give it a shot.
It's very easy to find.
Yeah.
Say give it a shot. It's on YouTube. At least this portion is completely on YouTube, and it's also on other places and sites that we're not going to mention because we don't
Yeah.
go to those sites.
If you can find a DVD and you can pay the $800 for it, great. But I mean,
Yeah.
good luck. They haven't. It's like they put it at the bottom of the ocean. They took it away.
Just like Dio.
Yep.
Yes.
So Clay,
He's antsy. He's antsy. Josh is gripping the table, and this creating cracks in the table right now.
No, what Diablo is typically not in terms of like the main villains of each part. Diablo is typically not one of like the favorites, but there's a lot of things that people really love about Diablo,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I'm just here's why I'm miffed.
Sure.
Clayton. It's because we had a whole episode where we talked about part 5, and you didn't bring this up.
I didn't really. I think I watched it, and I think every time I thought about the villain, the only thing that I was thinking of was King Crimson.
Yep.
Diavolo? Who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Does he have wants in this world? Is there something he's trying to gain?
He just wants power.
He has power.
He just wants to maintain. Yeah, no, that's
Uh-huh.
the thing. And I think here's the thing. That is a very sorry. Did I interrupt you?
You're good. I think just by the end of it, the main goal is to stop him from getting something that he only learned existed like 30 seconds ago.
But it's also trying to get it so you can put an end to his reign,
Yes.
which was the goal the whole time.
I just think at any given moment, he's very scary because King Crimson is so scary.
Yeah.
But I did not find him very compelling.
What I can understand that him as his own entity, yeah, he's not. But I view him in the context of like, I think Araki, what he was going for was a villain who is nothing but a veil of evil. Mm-hmm. But what makes him interesting is his interplay with Doppia. I think that was a saving grace for me personally.
I thought about this just now. It's like Giorno's able to win because he has the gang. He has his friends. And Diavolo's like only friend, the only person he really trusts is Doppia, who is just himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Diavo's he's so like inward and wants to be so secret, and he's so selfish.
Yeah.
He only trusts himself.
And when he loses Doppia, he loses the whole game.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I think you should like reread and rewatch part 5. And
Play the
Yeah,
game.
about 6 more times. You know.
I mean, yeah, Diavolo himself is kind of a nothing villain. I agree, but I think his use in part 5, I can look at a villain as just what was he used for and how well was that done, and I could still appreciate that.
Chopping Bruno in 2.
Yeah,
He did that pretty good.
yeah.
Threw Ignoracha on some spikes. And
I'm just
Yeah.
surprised that you could have part 3 be your favorite part when Alessi
I
happened
haven't
in part
said
3.
that part 3 is my favorite part yet.
No, I'm just.
I was just asking how you would feel
Part 3 is
about
cool.
that.
I think you've legitimately rocked Josh's world.
I
No,
feel bad. I
I'm
feel
not-
like I
perception of
dropped several
realities.
bombshells on you.
No.
Part 3 was the last part, I think, that had truly great thematically relevant ending themes to the episodes, because you got Walk Like an Egyptian and you got Last Train Home, and then in season 1 and 2 you had Roundabout, right?
Yeah.
The best like ending theme ever, and I don't think the ones for 4, 5.
I love
6.
the one for 4.
I think part 6.
4
I
is
think
so
part
good.
5.
But those
the
don't-
only one that to me this fits is that your criticism fits is freaking you at the beginning of
Yeah.
part 5. But it's still so sexy.
I don't know.
Dude, I think the one at the end of part 6 is it's not flashy, but it's the most on point.
Well, I'll eat my shoe if
on
I
an
have
emotional level, it makes me like want to cry.
Nothing has made me want to cry more than Last Train Home on like the last episode though. And
Modern Crusaders. That's like
which
the
part
song.
was that?
That's the end of part 5. That's the part 5.
No, not. I mean,
that's what part 5's about. Is like what
it just
that's-
feels a little. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna catch a lot of heat for.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
people are
saying,
gonna
no,
crucify
for
you.
saying that. I said earlier that like I think sometimes in JoJo they like explain and talk like way too much, and
It's okay.
I don't know.
think
if
I
that's a
don't
common
think
sentiment.
I don't think any of us have caught heat. I think that people.
You're
I
pretty
don't
safe
know
right
if there's
now.
anybody watching that is going to be throwing any heat.
I've
We
been
have
de-
cool fans.
I have been deleting thousands of comments.
Okay,
and billions of views.
I've been
that's very upsetting to hear because we get like 5 comments a video.
we get 5 good comments and then we get 5,000 negative
Okay.
hateful ones. So I delete them and I delete their views so that you don't know that they want. I protect you from all of that.
Gosh, you're so nice.
Yeah. No, you having your. Here's the thing, Clayton. What I'm more afraid of is you not feeling like you can share your opinions and being like, is you being like, you think Josh will be mad? Oh, I won't. I'll just keep this inside. I feel like you hold back, and I don't want you to hold back.
Yeah, I just
think
don't
just-
ever want to, I don't want to make it seem like I'm not having a fun time and that I'm not enjoying this series because I am, and I appreciate y'all showing it to me.
Yeah, of course.
It's
Well,
just
with
a
that-
No More Secrets podcast.
Yeah.
About anything.
Do I ever hold back on One Piece? Do I ever?
Do you?
I feel like you accelerate forward too often.
Don't say that.
I try to be like completely. I like giving things the benefit of the doubt, but I also when I do have a criticism, I like to be very open about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I mean, something you got to worry about.
That's true. Do we want to put a cap in this thing?
Yeah. Let's maybe put a gas tanker on this one.
Put
An oil tanker for
I'm
you.
I keep fucking it up.
Okay.
Well, Ben, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for being on this
You're
very
the
special episode.
official 3rd guest appearance we've ever had.
And
Whoa.
you were on the first ever bonus episode.
Yeah, I think bonus episode. I think I like
Cover
that as-
story.
That's gonna be the playlist name for this playlist.
My
Yeah.
enemy stand is you can't escape my garage until you finish the Part 5 PS2 game. You have to play it.
Hell yeah. All right. Well,
With that,
we
love you. Good night.
Mwah.